At Christmas dinner, my mother gave my sister a Macbook and handed me nothing. She smiled and said, "You don't need gifts. Just watching your sister open hers should be enough." I nodded quietly, then placed a black envelope on her plate. She opened it and turned pale. The lights on the Christmas tree blinked gently behind us. Cinnamon candles flickered on the mantel. The table was crowded with roast beef, mashed potatoes, and laughter. "Claire, open that one next," Mom said, her voice bright with excitement. My twin sister reached under the tree and pulled out the silver-wrapped box like it was made of gold. Her eyes sparkled. "Oh my God, is this the M3 model?" My mother nodded proudly. "With extra storage." Claire's squeal practically rattled the wine glasses. "You got me the MacBook. This is the exact one I wanted." More clapping. Uncle Leo let out a little cheer. Dad looked up from his phone to smile. "You've worked so hard, sweetheart," Mom said. "You deserve something nice." Claire leaned across the table and hugged her. "I love you. This is perfect." Seriously. I sat in my seat. Hands folded. Nothing in front of me but a cloth napkin and a sprig of rosemary. Claire looked up, her eyes glinting. "Wait, what about Ava?" That was me. My mother turned toward me, still smiling, but softer now. Almost dismissive. "Oh, Ava doesn't need gifts," she said. "Just watching her sister open hers should be enough." The entire table chuckled. Even Claire. I said nothing. I didn't laugh. Didn't smile. I just looked down at my plate as if the silence was a second course I had to finish before dessert. My mother turned her attention back to Claire. "You've always been the more expressive one. Ava's always been independent. She gets that from your grandfather." Claire giggled. "She gets the emotional repression from him too." No one said anything. No one defended me. It wasn't new. It was just normal. Born 6 minutes apart, and yet we'd never been treated like equals. Claire cried once during a recital and got flowers. I won a regional science competition and got told I should smile more. I reached into my coat pocket, pulled out a black envelope. No ribbon. No tag. Just matte paper and a sealed fold. I placed it on my mother's plate, right next to the mashed potatoes. She blinked. "What's this?" "Something small," I said, and took a sip of my wine. Claire leaned over like she was watching a live drama. "Oh!" Suspense. Mom broke the seal, unfolded the paper. Her eyes moved slowly across the page, then faster, then stopped. The smile faded. The color drained. Her hand trembled slightly as she held the edge of the letter. She didn't speak. Didn't blink. Claire frowned. "Mom? What is it?" But my mother didn't answer. She just stared at the paper like it had ruined Christmas. And for the first time that night, I enjoyed myself. People like to romanticize twins. They say, you must be so close, or it must be like having a built-in best friend. Yeah. Try being the invisible twin. Claire and I were born 6 minutes apart. She never lets me forget she's the older one. Like 6 minutes gave her divine rights. But it wasn't Claire who made me feel smaller, not really. It was our parents. From the time we were kids, Claire was the sparkly one. The gifted one. She sang in the school choir. Standing ovations. I got accepted into an advanced STEM program. Mom said, "Don't brag." She cried after not making cheer captain once. I overheard Dad tell her, "You're still our shining star." When I got a scholarship offer, "Don't get cocky, Ava. College isn't everything." By the time we were in high school, I had stopped sharing things with them. I'd win awards and hide the certificates in a drawer. Get straight A's and say nothing. Meanwhile, Claire switched majors 3 times, failed a semester, and still got a new iPhone to stay productive. When I got into med school, Claire cried because Mom didn't come to her nail salon appointment. Guess who got comforted? It only got worse after college. I graduated on time, summa cum laude. Paid off my student loans working night shifts. No help, no drama. Claire got a communications degree from a private school and moved back home after 2 months of trying adult life. She said the job market was toxic and needed healing energy. Mom called her brave. Dad said, "You can always stay as long as you need." She stayed for years. I sent money home every month. Not because they asked, because they hinted. The fridge broke again. The car needed a new battery. Claire's therapy wasn't covered by insurance. Always a reason. I'd send $500. Then $800. Then $1,200. No one ever said thank you. Claire once joked, well, you're the doctor. You've got it. I'm not a doctor. I'm a trauma nurse. And I work 60-hour weeks to survive. But I let it go. Because it was family. Because I didn't want to seem bitter. I bit my tongue at every dinner where they fawned over Claire's latest boyfriend while ignoring the fact that I had built a life on my own. Every time she posted her yoga retreat selfies and my parents reposted them with captions like, so proud of our light. Light? I was the one paying their electric bill. The final straw came 2 weeks before Christmas. I was covering a double shift when I got a text from my mom. Can you send something extra this month? Claire's been so stressed and could really use something nice for the holidays. I read it on my break, sitting in the hospital supply closet, eating a protein bar I bought with coins. That same night, Claire posted an Instagram story from a luxury spa. She tagged a champagne bottle and captioned it, "Deserved thanks, universe." I didn't reply to the text. The next day, Mom called. "Sweetheart, just checking in. Claire said you've been distant lately. You're not upset, are you?" I swallowed so hard it burned. Upset? No. Just busy. Saving lives, you know? She laughed like I'd made a joke. Then she said it. Just don't let it get to you. Claire's sensitive. She didn't get your strength. You don't need things the way she does. I stared at the phone like it might explode. That was the exact moment I knew I had to stop pretending this was a family. It was a hierarchy. Claire was the queen. I was the engine that kept her throne warm. And this Christmas? This Christmas, I decided to burn the blueprint. I started gathering things. Quietly. Emails. Bank statements. Screenshots. Chat logs. Not for revenge, not yet. At first, it was just for me. I needed to see it. Quantify the years I'd spent paying for their silence. 6 years of money transfers. For rent payments, for emergencies. 3 credit card bills accidentally in my name. And over $27,000 total since 2017. Claire, who never worked a job longer than 6 months, had taken 3 girls' trips this year alone. One of them to Greece. She'd posted a reel with the caption, "Manifestation is real." Yeah, my money manifested that business class seat. And still, my mother had the audacity to say I didn't need gifts. Which brings us back to that dinner. To the roast beef. The Christmas lights. The Macbook. And the envelope. Because inside that envelope was everything. Printed screenshots of money transfers. Dates. Amounts. Even one of Claire's texts. Just tell Ava it's for groceries. She always says yes. And stapled behind it? A letter from my bank. Confirming they had reversed 3 unauthorized charges, traced back to Claire's account. For the latest iPhone, a spa subscription, and a silk robe. My name had been used to sign for the charges. Forged. By my sister. And approved by my mother. I know because she co-signed the Apple Pay account. That's what she was reading when the smile drained from her face. When her hands began to tremble. When Claire leaned over and asked, "Mom, what's wrong?" And that was just page 1. There were 5 more. Because this time, I didn't come to play the silent twin. This time, I brought receipts. Silence. That's what followed after my mother finished reading the first 2 pages. Claire leaned across the table again, more annoyed this time. "Mom, what is it? You're kind of killing the vibe right now." My mother didn't answer. She just looked at me, no longer smiling. Her lips parted slightly like she wanted to say something but couldn't find the right lie fast enough. Claire snatched the envelope from her hand. Ugh, what is this drama? She started reading. And in real time, I watched her smugness melt. Her eyebrows knit together. Her mouth opened slowly. Her fingers started shaking as she flipped to the next page, the one with the forged signature. Then she froze. "You've been digging through my stuff?" she hissed, voice suddenly sharp. "You used my name to open a credit line," I said calmly. "You stole from me, Claire." Her eyes darted around the table. "That's insane." I didn't. This isn't even. This is fake. It's not, I said. The bank already confirmed the IP address. Your email. Your phone number. I turned to my mother. And yours. You approved one of the payments, remember? For her birthday trip? You said it was an accident. My mother's mouth snapped shut. Her face looked like porcelain. Fragile. Cracked. Dad finally looked up from his phone. What's going on? I ignored him. I've been paying for this family since I was 23. Quietly. Consistently. And I kept telling myself it was temporary. That one day, someone would say thank you. I looked at my sister. But instead, you called me emotionally repressed in front of a table of people. You made fun of me. And today, you unwrapped a $2,000 laptop while I sat here with nothing. Claire stood up so fast her chair screeched. This is pathetic. You're doing this now? On Christmas? Yeah, I said, standing too. On Christmas. Since you said it's all about energy and vibes, I figured I'd finally match yours. You don't get to act like a victim, she snapped. You're the one who's always been cold. Distant. You think you're better than everyone. Because I had to be. I exploded. You got to be soft. Loud. Needy. You had room to fall apart. I didn't. I was the backup plan when your life didn't work out. My voice shook. Not from fear, from years of pressure finally being released. I covered your rent. I fixed mom and dad's plumbing. I paid for groceries I didn't eat and vacations I wasn't invited to. Claire's jaw dropped. You think that makes you a martyr? You're bitter. That's all this is. No, I said. I'm done. My mother finally stood up. Ava. Please. Sit down. But I didn't move. You said I don't need gifts. That watching Claire open hers should be enough. I turned to her, locking eyes. Well, now you get to watch me do something too. I reached into my purse and pulled out a second envelope. This one was red. I slid it across the table. What's that? My dad asked. A termination letter, I said. Effective January 1st, I will no longer send money to this household. No transfers. No help. No surprises. Claire scoffed. Wow, you think you're some kind of hero now. I think I've been silent for too long. Mom's face went red. How do you bring this kind of energy into our home? This isn't a home, I snapped. This is a throne room where Claire gets to be queen and the rest of us are servants. You're blowing this out of proportion, Dad muttered. You're making us all uncomfortable. Good, I said. You should be uncomfortable. The room fell completely silent. Even the fireplace crackling in the background seemed to quiet. Then Claire broke it. You're overreacting because you didn't get a gift. I laughed. Actually laughed. You're right, I said. You got a Macbook. I got fraud. Her mouth twisted. You always had a way of making everything about you. And you always had a way of getting away with everything. She lunged forward, jabbing a finger toward the stack of papers. You really went behind my back to pull this all together? Like some kind of cop? No, I said, meeting her eyes. Like someone who finally got tired of being robbed and laughed at. You're disgusting, she snapped. But her voice cracked, and that was when I realized she wasn't just angry. She was scared. Because she knew I meant it. Because this time, I wasn't bluffing. My mother took a deep breath and tried one last card, the one she always played when nothing else worked. We're your family, Ava. And I smiled. Not anymore. I didn't slam the door when I left. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I just walked out of that Christmas dinner like a woman stepping off a sinking ship, no panic, just purpose. The night air hit my face like a second wind. For once, I wasn't shivering. I walked 3 blocks in silence before the weight hit me. Not guilt. Not regret. Relief. I wasn't theirs anymore. Not their financial safety net. Not their silent twin. Not their shadow. Just Ava. Finally. The next morning, I woke up to 27 missed messages. Claire. Mom. Even my dad, who hadn't texted me in over a year. You ruined Christmas. This was unnecessary and cruel. Let's talk before you go too far. We're family. We can fix this. I didn't reply. That afternoon, my dad called. I let it ring 3 times before answering. Curiosity, maybe. His voice was low. Tired. Your mother hasn't come out of the bedroom, he said. She says it was the worst Christmas of her life. I waited a moment, then replied flatly. Well, I guess it finally matches how most of mine felt. He sighed. Ava, this doesn't have to be permanent. I looked out the window. It was snowing lightly. Quiet. Peaceful. No, I said. But it does have to be real. And I hung up. 3 days passed in silence. Then, a text from Claire. I didn't know you were keeping score all these years. You could have just talked to me. You didn't have to make it a scene. Funny how the people who thrived in drama suddenly wanted peace when they weren't the center of it. I didn't reply to her either. A week after the dinner, I moved out of my apartment and into a new place across town. Small. Unfurnished. No strings. I bought my own tree, a tiny fake one from a thrift store. Decorated it with dollar store lights and old ornaments I hadn't seen in years. It was the first Christmas tree I'd ever had that wasn't drowning in expectations. I sat beside it on New Year's Eve, wrapped in a blanket, phone on silent. No calls. No fake apologies. Just quiet. And peace. Then something strange happened. I got a letter. A real one. In the mail. I almost threw it out, thinking it was junk. But the handwriting stopped me. Neat. Familiar, somehow. It was from Melissa, one of Claire's old friends. We hadn't spoken in years. Ava. I know this might be weird. But I saw what you did. The Christmas dinner. I heard about it through someone who was there. And I just wanted to say, thank you. You said what so many of us were too scared to say. Claire has burned bridges for years. She used people, manipulated them, and somehow always got away with it. But you stopped her. And you did it with facts, not bitterness. You didn't just blow things up, you broke the spell. It helped me do the same with someone in my life. You gave me permission to walk away. I don't know if you'll care, but I wanted you to know. What you did mattered. Happy New Year. Melissa. I sat on the couch and reread the letter 3 times. It wasn't long. It wasn't poetic. But it was the most honest thing anyone had said to me in years. I put it on my bookshelf. Right beside the little ceramic angel I'd saved from childhood, the only ornament they hadn't accidentally broken over the years. You'd think the aftermath would be loud. But it wasn't. No storm. No screams. Just a long, slow unraveling of years of weight I didn't know I was carrying. Claire never called again. She posted something vague on Instagram about toxic energy and rising above. Mom went silent. Radio silent. Dad texted me once in January. Your sister's moving in with us. Just so you're aware. I responded. That's between you and her. Nothing more. And you know what? For the first time in my life, I didn't feel like I had to explain myself. Didn't feel like I owed anyone a story. I wasn't the difficult one. I wasn't the bitter one. I was just done. And freedom? It didn't feel like fireworks. It felt like silence that finally didn't hurt. Some people think healing comes with closure. Like one day you wake up and everything makes sense. Like there's a moment when you forgive, forget, and move on neat and tidy. That's not how it happened for me. Closure didn't come as an apology. It didn't arrive in a neatly worded letter. It didn't even come from them. It came in fragments. Like the morning I walked into my new apartment and realized I didn't have to check my phone for their urgent requests. Like the first time I got paid and didn't send half of it to someone else. Like walking past a silver Macbook in a store window and not flinching. I still get messages sometimes. A birthday text. Hope you're well. Once, Claire sent a reel on Instagram with no caption. Just a quote that said, letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means knowing you deserve peace. I didn't reply, because if she really believed that quote, she'd understand why I left. People ask me if I miss them. I don't lie. Sometimes I miss the idea of having a family. But I don't miss the version of myself I had to become to keep that illusion alive. I don't miss walking on eggshells around my own mother. I don't miss being told that my silence was strength when really, it was survival. I don't miss being the independent one, just so others didn't have to grow up. Now? I fill my space with things I never thought I deserved. Time. Stillness. Boundaries. I wake up in the morning and drink my coffee without checking a dozen messages asking for help. I bought a bookshelf, not to impress anyone, but because I love stories. I go to bed without a lump in my throat. Some nights, I still hear my mother's voice in my head. You don't need anything, Ava. Watching your sister open hers should be enough. But that voice gets quieter. Less powerful. Less relevant. Because I now know. It was never about the gifts. It was about what I was taught I didn't deserve. They wanted me to believe that my value was in how much I could give. How little I could need. How small I could make myself to keep everyone else comfortable. But I'm done shrinking. A few months after Christmas, I got a call from a blocked number. Normally, I wouldn't pick up. But that day I did. Is this Ava? A woman asked. Her voice was unfamiliar. Tired, but kind. Yes. Who's this? My name's Lena. I used to work with your sister. That caught my attention. She talked about you, she continued. A lot. Not always kindly. But that night, Christmas, it changed something. Claire stopped showing up. People started seeing her differently. I just wanted to say, you gave some of us the courage to speak up too. I didn't know what to say. She paused. I hope you're okay. That's all. Just, thank you. She hung up. And I sat there, phone in hand, and realized. I hadn't just walked away. I'd drawn a line. One they never thought I'd dare cross. And maybe that was the real gift. Not revenge. Not validation. Not even peace. Just the quiet, steady truth that I am not a villain for refusing to be their victim. I don't regret anything. Not the envelope. Not the confrontation. Not walking out. And if I had to do it again, I'd leave sooner. So no, I'm not the cold one. I'm the one who learned, finally, that family isn't about guilt. It's not about blood. It's about respect. And when that's gone, you owe them nothing. Not your time. Not your money. Not your silence. This year, for Christmas, I bought myself something small. A gold necklace. It says one word. Enough. And for the first time in my life, I believe it. Final update. Hey all, just wanted to say thanks for the overwhelming response. I didn't expect the post to blow up like this. Honestly, I wrote it at 2 a.m. the night after I walked out. I couldn't sleep, and I needed to put the truth somewhere that wasn't just echoing inside my head. Reddit felt safer than sending another unanswered message to someone who never really saw me anyway. A lot of you said you saw yourselves in my story, the strong one, the quiet one, the one who gets left out and still expected to give more. And reading your comments? It made me realize I'm not crazy. I'm not overreacting. I'm not bitter, I was just finally done. To everyone who said, good for you, proud of you, took real courage, thank you. Really, that support meant more than you know. After years of being gaslit into silence, hearing hundreds of strangers say, I believe you, is surreal. And healing. To those who asked, what was in the envelope? It was proof of 6 years of payments, text messages where they admitted manipulating me, and evidence my sister opened accounts in my name. It wasn't petty. It was facts. To the few who said, you shouldn't have ruined Christmas, or, that was too extreme, I get it. I do. It probably looked harsh from the outside. But what do you do when you've spent years being quiet, generous, loyal, and they still call you ungrateful? How many Christmases do you sit through smiling while you're erased at your own family table? I didn't ruin Christmas. They ruined years of my life. All I did was finally stop playing along. And the silence that came after, it didn't hurt like I thought it would. It felt earned. Now I'm rebuilding. Slowly, quietly, without them. But I still wonder something, and I'd love to hear from others who've been in similar situations. Why does setting boundaries always get labeled as selfish, especially when you've spent your whole life giving? Did anyone else only find their voice after being pushed to the edge? Let me know. Ava.